Welcome back. So in this video, we're going through the exercises, warm-up and workout of session 7, in which we're focusing on control flow in Python, conditional statement if, else, and also loops, as well as error. So let's start with the warm-up exercise. In question 1, we're being asked to assign the value 7 to a variable guess me, and then write a conditional test to print the string too low, too high, or just right, depending on whether the value of the variable is less than, greater than, or equals to 7. So this is basically very much like the number guessing game that we have worked out in the intro session. I'm going to start to assign the value 7 to guess me, and then I'm going to write the if statement to express that condition. In all of these exercises, I suggest you pause for a minute and try to do it on your own before continuing watching me. So the syntax of the if statement, if, and then condition. Again, the condition has to evaluate to a boolean, so if guess me is equals to 7, colon, and notice that we are now in the block belonging to the if statement, right? That's the indentation, and now I'm going to do print just right, else if guess me is less than 7, I'm going to print too low. I can do else if guess me greater than 7, but anyhow that's a remaining case, so I'm going to do else print too high. Of course the result is just right. If I change this one, I'm gonna get a different result. Now in this second exercise, we're supposed to assign the value 7 to guess me and the value 1 to a variable start, and then write a loop that compares start to guess me and print too low if start is less than guess me. Once start equals guess me, it prints found it, and then exit the loop. If start is greater than guess me, it prints oops and exit the loop. Okay. So let's start with the easiest step, which is assigning values to these variables. So guess me is 7 and start is 1. Next we want to start with a loop. So I'm going to write a while loop. Compare starts with guess me. It will print too low if starts is less than guess me. And continues the increment, it increments start as the end of the loop. So basically what we are going to do here, we're going to compare guess me to start. So if start is less than guess me, I'm going to print too low. And then at the end we want to increase start by 1. So this will keep printing too low, too low, too low. But eventually when start equals to guess me, we can print found it and then exit the loop. Now if start is greater than guess me, we will print loop oops and exit the loop. Okay. So how do we deal with this? Now, because we have different conditions here, there are different strategies we can employ. One way to do it is to write an infinite loop while true, and then start, increase start by 1, and we write an if statement here. So we can do if start is less than guess me, print too low, again, indentation is important, else if start is equals to guess me, I'm going to print found it, and of course the last case, else print oops. Now the remaining part is to exit the loop because this is an infinite loop, and notice that this will keep going on forever. So if you commit this mistake, make sure you interrupt the kernel, and we need to exit the loop after printing found it, and also after printing oops. So in this case, if we happen to start from a value which is low, less than, guess me, it's going to keep printing too low until it prints found it. If we happen to start from a higher value, say more than 7, it's just going to print oops and then break the loop. Now let's take a look at number 3. We want to write a for loop that prints the values in the list 3, 2, 1, 0. So I'm going to go with a for loop for v in the list 3, 2, 1, 0. I can do print v, and this will print these values. We can also add an optional separator. So if we want to separate this value by a white space, we can do end is equal to white space, semicolon. It depends on how we want to format these values. Well, the key point in here is that the syntax of the for loop is the for variable and then the sequence that you want to iterate over. Okay, so let's take a look at a more meaningful example here. So that's the example of extracting the email address or addresses from the message using a loop. So we have an email message, and there are a couple of emails that we would like to extract. So the first step in this problem is to think about a way to break the message, which is a string, to individual words. Now once we do this, once we have a list of words, we can use a loop, such as a for loop, to go over each word and determine whether the word is an email or not. So again, notice that to determine whether a word is an email or not, we will need a conditional statement and if statement. So kind of this exercise puts together things that we've learned last time, as well as our new knowledge of loops and conditionals. Alright, so the first step is to break this message to words, and this can be done using the split function. Now again, notice that the split function is giving us a list of words. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go over each individual words in this list. And let's print word for now. So this will basically print each word in an individual line. Now obviously we don't want to print each word. We want to print each word only if the word is an email. So we need to make this print conditional on word being an email, if word is an email. Of course, this is not a valid code, but this is the idea. Do you want to test whether the word is an email address? Okay. So how do we do it? How do we determine that a certain word is an email address? Well, of course, if we want to make it, bulletproof, we need to check that the word has the different components of the email. An easy heuristic, a shortcut, is to test whether the character is within word. Now, that doesn't mean that the word is an email, because it can be a mention, for instance, or it can be not well formatted email, but this is a good shortcut for now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to test whether the word contains the character. Now we can use the function find, or we can use the function index, right? And remember, those functions will return the index of the position of the character or the substring in the string. So I can do word.find at not equal to -1, right? Because if it's -1, it does mean it doesn't exist. Print word. This will basically limit our print to these two words, which happen to be the email addresses of interest. Another way to do it is to use the in operator. So I can do if at in word, take out this, I don't need it, print word, which is similar to the find and it's a bit more readable. If at in word, print word. All right, so that's will kind of parse the emails from that big message. Now, often we don't want to print. We probably want to process this data. We probably want to put these words in another list for further processing. So instead of printing words, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a list called emails, which is empty. And instead of printing word, I'm going to do emails.append word. Okay, that's one way to do it. And once I'm done, I'm going to report on the value of emails. And you can see that now the 2 emails have been put in this list called emails that we can process, further down the road. That's one way to append it to a list, or we can use the plus equal word. We have seen this before. It's the same. So in this example, we combined our knowledge of the string and its functions and loops and conditionals to come up with a meaningful short code that parses emails from this text. And we will see that we can further improve this code when we talk about list comprehensions.